Hi guys, I'm Rachel. I am one half of the Booze and Boobs podcast, and this is my other half.
Hi, I'm Katrina.
Welcome to our podcast. We hope you love it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Booze and Boobs podcast. I'm Katrina.
I'm Rachel.
So we are back after a little break because
A
our
little.
lives have been a lot break because we have had some hectic times in our lives because,
Yeah, I will take most of the blame on this one because I moved cross country pretty suddenly. So while Katrina and I were talking about the podcast for a lot of this time, and we had some stuff recorded already, I was really tired and lazy. I'm like, I don't want to sit and do all of this, so sorry. But we're back, and we're talking about one of my favorite movies, Jennifer's Body. I'm very excited to kind of bring it back home with this guy.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys also love Jennifer's Body because if you don't, bye. We don't care. No.
If you don't love Jennifer's Body, honestly, I'm not sure that you would get all of our humor for every other episode that we're going to do, because this was like a penultimate movie for me. It came out like right at the right time. I was 17.
I will say the first time I watched it, I didn't really get it. And then the second time when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I'm starting, like, it's like,
amazing.
I'm like, oh, I'm following it now. I get it. So it's,
Perfect.
you got to watch it at least twice to see everything.
This movie and I have a long history. This is actually the first R-rated movie that I saw in theaters that I did not sneak into. So I was 17, like I had just barely turned 17, like the week that this movie came out. The summer when I was 16 is when the Final Destination came out, and my friend was 17, so she got us tickets and we sneaked in there. And then like 2 or 3 days before my birthday, my other friend who was 17 sneaked me into Sorority Row. So the summer I was 16, lots of horror movies. And then this movie came out right after my 17th birthday, so I could buy the tickets, and I was super excited because I love Amanda Seyfried. I mean, who doesn't love Megan Fox? So I was just ready to jump on board. And this movie, like, is inside of me like the demon is inside Jennifer.
Hearing you say, like, you went to all those horror movies when you were 16 and everything, just made me realize, like, I don't think I really went to the movies at all growing up. And yes, we did have movies, like the movie theaters where I lived. I just don't, I never went. I always just like waited for it to come on to cable or Redbox before,
Yeah, back when Redbox was like
Netflix.
kind of a thing. Because my family, we did the Blockbuster one, where you could get DVDs mailed to you, and then you could return them in the store, and then you could check movies out. We had like the 3 package plan, so we would finish our movies, go in, get our 3 DVDs, and then Blockbuster would mail us 3 more. I don't know if Redbox did the same thing. And then I know Netflix was doing that, and then Netflix killed Blockbuster. R.I.P.
Yeah, I think a combination of Redbox and Netflix just tanked Blockbuster.
Yeah, pour one out for Blockbuster.
They had overpriced snacks like the movie theaters anyway, so it was a real experience.
Exactly. It really was the home theater experience. But we're gonna kind of get started and talk about Jennifer's Body and what we liked about it.
Yeah, when you had mentioned how you want to talk about, their friendship and what it's like, when I was rewatching it a little bit, I was like, this seems kind of like a toxic friendship. I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm a very low maintenance friend, if anything. So I've never really like experienced something to where I was super worried that I was going to make my friend mad because I wore the wrong top, right? But it did remind me of you and your previous friend, because I was like, it always felt like a competition or something was just like you didn't do something right, that's a toxic friendship.
Well, it's over now. She's
Live
dead.
and learn.
Dead to me.
Sandbox love
No,
never
it's fine.
dies, but it does.
Except for when I killed it over a text message.
And you got okay.
But I mean, we can just kind of jump right into the movie. I mean, the
Yeah.
movie starts exactly how it ends, give or take.
Mhm.
So we just open up to Megan Fox, who plays Jennifer Check, laying in her bed. The movie came out in 2009. It's a very 2009 room. There's a Fall Out Boy poster on the back. She's watching like a Bowflex infomercial on TV. Like, she looks jank, and just watching that, it looks like it's one of those infomercials that's on at like 2 a.m. Did you ever watch 2 a.m. in infomercials?
Sometimes it was like 50-50. Sometimes it was like infomercials at 2 a.m. or you wake up to George Lopez's introduction song
Yes.
of Lowrider. It's one or the other.
Oh, see, I kind of was very into infomercials. Like, I would look for a couple of them that I liked, and I would just watch them like it was a TV show.
Oh my god.
What did you watch? What did you like?
Not the products itself. I loved Billy Mays for a long time just because of he's like, it's Billy Mays, guys. And he was just yelling the entire infomercial. And
R.I.P. Billy Mays. He was one of the good ones.
he was not quite up there with Steve Irwin, but good enough. But my favorite, like, I felt like the Sham Wow was so cringy. Sponsor us. And I loved it because it was like, they can absorb anything and wring it out. And I'm just like, cool. They just were so over the top.
Okay. If ShamWow was your favorite infomercial, I can tell you what my favorite infomercial is, but can I tell you a story about ShamWow?
Yeah.
So, when I was in college, I went to film school, and we, like, every month was a different class. So we would have one that was like lighting, sound, editing, whatever. Like, every month was kind of something different. We had, I want to say it was in my lighting class, maybe, like, our group project was to create a commercial. So we made a commercial for ShamWow, and it was me and this boy. I mean, I was the only girl in the group, and we just made a commercial, and we were like the stars, and we were just talking to each other, and then oops, we spilled a cup of something, and the guy's name was Tyler, and I was like, oh no, I just spilled my drink, and he's like, don't worry, I have my generic brand paper towels. And then we get a knock on the door, and then another guy, Aaron, came in to be like the ShamWow guy, and he's like, forget about your generic brand paper towels, use a ShamWow. And then
Oh my god.
it's really, really cringy. I think maybe like way back in my Facebook, I still have it, but it was so cringy, just like a ShamWow commercial, but it was really fun. So I'll show you. But if that's your favorite infomercial, that's another thing that led us together.
I need to see that now. Like, it's after this is over, I will stalk your Facebook as far back as I need to.
Oh, you'll have to go back like a decade and a half, but it'll be there. I'm pretty sure like my grandma shared it. But my favorite infomercial is The Magic Bullet. Did you ever watch that one?
I don't think I have.
Well, what I love about the Magic Bullet infomercial was all of the things that they made in like the half-hour show. So for like 3 years, I kept asking my parents for a magic bullet because I wanted a personal, versatile countertop magician. And then, actually, like the Christmas before I went off to college, my brother got me a magic bullet set.
Oh my god.
$30 at Costco, and I was just like, this is so good. I still have it, and I use it. So,
Honestly,
way to go, Magic Bullet. You got a loyal customer based off your infomercial.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us. ShamWow, Magic Bullet, please sponsor us. We use your products. We love them anyway.
I did have a ShamWow in my car for like forever, I don't know if I ever used it, though. But I
Well,
had
don't say
one.
that. They're not going to sponsor us.
Well, it was one of those, like, as seen on TV, like, when you go through Walmart. I know you don't shop at Walmart, but I do. Walmart has this, like, shelf by the checkout that's, like, as seen on TV products that you can buy there rather than on TV. So.
Well, anyway, little tangent there, but Jennifer is watching a Bowflex commercial, which comes into play later, and then we hear something outside, and then do we see Needy outside? I can't remember.
Yeah, you see her for like a split second, but Jennifer doesn't. She's like a ghost.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we cut to Needy, the character of Anita, Needy, played by Amanda Seyfried, is in some kind of prison, rehab facility kind of institution.
Yeah, I kind of got the vibes of like a mental hospital. But she's kind of narrating now, saying how she has, like, she gets fan mail and all kinds of things. And she, what I thought was really funny was she's like, they have kicker on my chart because I'm a kicker. And I was like, I just thought that was really funny.
Well, yeah, because she's talking about, like, in not very descriptive terms, but how she is basically the kind of person that shouldn't be there. She's not crazy. Everything that happened is real, but we don't know what that really is yet. So we just see her kind of going through like a day in the life, give or take. And then, yeah, like you were saying, a nurse or some kind of a supervisor comes up to talk to her about her dietary choices, which is like what they call them toastums in the show, which is basically like a Pop-Tart. The orderly is like, yeah, those are great, but you can also eat some more healthy things. And then she kicks her right in the chest and she just flies across the room. Like, that was a powerful kick.
Superhuman. Which I think she wanted. So she landed in isolation, which is probably what she wanted anyway.
I thought about that when I was watching it. It's like, I would probably do a lot of things to be by myself in this place like that.
Leave me alone, please. Especially if you feel like you don't belong. Because she, throughout the whole movie, I think her sanity was being questioned the entire time. And we kind of get the hint that her mom has some kind of issues. And so, you know, sometimes that's genetic, and maybe she was, you know, worried that she was going to end up similar to where her mom is in life.
But then she's in solitary, and then the music that's playing is something. We don't know what it is yet, but Needy hates the song. She curls herself up in the corner, starts screaming, covering her ears, and then she's like, I wasn't always this crazy. And then we kind of do like the real start of the movie, and we go back 2 months.
When they flash back, it's like a pep rally in the gymnasium, and Jennifer is like head cheerleader, or like front and center, and we see her, and then it like pans to Needy, and she's just staring at Jennifer, applauding. Right then and there, I was like, ooh, there's something there. Other people saw it because...
Well, you weren't the only one who thought that. Yeah.
A girl behind her is like, you're totally lesbi gay. And I'm like, well,
and 17-year-old me was like, huh, maybe I am too.
If I look at Megan Fox like that, does that mean...
I think that just means, like, I think everybody looks at Megan Fox that way. I don't think that's an orientation thing. I think that's just, she is beautiful.
She is.
And she went through way too much after this movie. I would just like to say, for the record, Megan Fox is a gem. I know that she's with Machine Gun Kelly right now, and people are thinking like they're weird. I really don't pay that much attention to that stuff, but I like her. I don't care.
I did hear that she went through a lot to do this movie. Like, she lost a ton of weight, and she had to stay thin. I mean, for those low-rise jeans, yeah. Nobody should have to go through that to get fit in those low-rise jeans like that.
I think that this movie is a very solid 2009 time capsule. The outfits, not necessarily the language. It's a Diablo Cody script, and she also wrote Juno, so it's very punchy, quirky, very noticeable dialogue, but like the setting felt really grounded in 2009. Low-rise jeans, side bangs, prints, kind of all that stuff. I came across one of my notes here for the episode, and so when we were rewatching this, we were rewatching it on Peacock, but when I watched it, it silenced all of the fucks. Did it do that?
It did on mine.
Watched it too?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, because, I mean, like we have established, I love this movie, and I know it, so when I was quoting along in my head and we were missing, like, fuck, I was like, hey, wait a minute. What are we doing here?
Well, and
you pay for Peacock. Like, that's bullshit.
Right. I use closed captions on everything. And it didn't even spell out the words that they were blinking. It just was like nothing.
Yep. Yeah. I remember that. And it's just like, interessante.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting choice. But we get that opening scene in the high school pep rally where we just get like, there's some kind of a feeling between Needy and Jennifer. And then there's this one line with Needy's narration that's like, hell is a teenage girl. And I felt that.
I feel sorry for anybody that's a parent to a teenage girl. Or just a parent
Okay,
in
why
general.
is that? Let's talk about that. Well, why? No. Do I have to cancel out your misogynistic views right now? Let's talk about this.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I felt bad for my mom because I was an asshole. Like, straight up.
Well, were you an asshole because you were an asshole, or were you an asshole because of the misogynistic society we live in and the way that teenage girls and women in general are put in boxes of how we could and should behave, that it completely takes away our personhood?
No, I think I was just mean to my mom. Well, it was in the middle of, like, high school was, like, in the middle of, like, my parents' divorce, and, like, the divorce lasted my entire high school, so I was just angry and did not understand a lot of things that were happening in the background, and I was mean to my mom, so.
Oh, well.
If you're listening, Mom, love you.
I told my mom when we started this that she couldn't listen because I say fuck a lot and I'm gay, and she doesn't like either of those things, so there's really no point for her to watch it.
Yeah, my mom doesn't give a shit.
No, so the next scene that we see it's really quick. It's just Jennifer and Needy saying that there's a band that Jennifer likes on MySpace coming to a bar that's in their town. So they're going to go, and Jennifer just says, wear something cute, okay? And then walks away.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like a man would not understand what that means, because Needy goes into depth on, well, when Jennifer says wear something cute, she means I can show my stomach, but I can't show my boobs because tits are her signature thing. And I just can't upstage her, which just brings on this, like, whole competition thing again. And I'm just like, why are you competing with your friend?
Well, and that's a thing that I think is pretty universal, because I think that this is a really, really great movie for this podcast. I think that there's a lot to talk about in terms of how women are treated, expected, like whatever responsibilities like people place on women's behavior and how we should behave or react in relation to each other and society in general. So it's a nice scene that happens when Needy's getting dressed, like what you're saying, and she's explaining to her boyfriend Chip, played by Johnny Simmons, what all of that means. So Chip thinks it's dumb that there are rules, and it is dumb that there are rules, but unfortunately, like, there kind of are rules, and by going against the rules, you kind of are also playing by the rules, too. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you're intentionally trying to go against something, that means you're agreeing that it's there and that you're kind of enforcing it.
Yeah, it's like when
And
people wear black wedding dresses.
I would wear one.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
it really shouldn't matter. There was a gal I worked with. We were friends a few years ago when we worked together. She wore a hot pink wedding dress. Like it was like a slip dress, and she did a destination wedding, so it was kind of this whole thing. And she looked beautiful, but all the comments are, "Wow, it's not white. Like it's so different." It's like, who cares? Just because
Yeah.
Queen Victoria did something a couple hundred years ago, now we all have to wear white. What does it matter? I think a lot of the, I'm just using like wearing a black wedding dress as an example, is it's fine if you wear a black wedding dress. I don't care what anybody wears. I just notice it with a little more detail if people are like, oh, I just didn't want to wear white. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to be different. It's like, that's fine. I wish that you could reframe it in your own mind about, instead of I want to be different, it's I want to do what I like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's where I think the misogyny that exists in our culture kind of comes from it, that people feel like they have to defend what they like just because it's different versus just doing what you like and being happy with it.
I have no sense of fashion whatsoever, and I never really have. I see something, I think that's adorable, cute, whatever, but on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't picture myself in those kinds of things because I'm not capable. I am capable, but I wouldn't wear it out. And that's just because I feel like I'm a very, like, lay low person rather than everybody staring at me because I'm wearing something freaking weird and out of the norm.
Yeah, I get it. And I feel like this movie really, it is very efficient at needling in on all of these things that are very common in a woman's life, with rules about fashion or behavior or comparing each other or in the relationships that we have, anything like that. So even though like the plot is fantastical, it's based in a lot of reality.
Yeah, which I just remembered this. Speaking of like 2009 fashion and me not feeling comfortable doing what I like, I remembered in, I don't know if it was middle school or high school, one of the two, I had this like denim mini skirt, but I didn't want to wear just a denim mini skirt.
I know exactly. I know where this is going.
And I had these leggings, not pants.
Oh, I know.
Not
I knew
pants, but they were like winter leggings. Like they were like thick gray winter leggings, and I loved it.
I bet they were.
I was living for it, and I went to school like that, and I got made fun of, but I did it.
Yeah, I get it.
I thought it was really cute, and I also wore my cowgirl boots with it, so that's top notch.
That is a choice.
So Jennifer and Needy get to Melody Lane, the bar that is in their town. It's kind of just off the side of the road somewhere, but it looks pretty decent. It's kind of popping, so either it's normally a little bit busy like that for a one bar kind of a town that it looks like, or everybody's just really excited to see Low Shoulder, which doesn't really seem to be the case since they don't really fit in with that aesthetic of the town.
Also, the name Low Shoulder for a band, there's so many other cooler names you could have come up with.
Yeah, but it was 2009, so it was all very...
Everything has to be ironic.
I mean, not even... Yeah, I'm like, it's not meta, it's just like stuff like that. But one thing that I noticed, and maybe I had noticed it before, but when we were doing the rewatch, I noticed that Jennifer has pink nail polish on, except on her ring finger on each hand, it's painted black. And I will say, I don't remember if we've talked about this before, but I learned not that long ago but having just one nail painted a different color was kind of like queer coding yourself as a way to identify yourself, like more like a femme to identify herself as still being gay, even though she's not so obvious about it. So that used to be a tell, and then I don't know, I mean, if it was Pinterest's fault or whatever, that kind of just became an accent nail, but it actually used to be a specifically queer-coded
I
thing.
had no idea.
Isn't that cool, though?
And I never caught that her nails were painted like that. And maybe it could have started a trend, because I've always thought, like, oh, the 2 accent nails or something like that. I never really thought anything of it, but I mean, back then it would make sense to have some kind of just like signal or language that isn't known to everybody, just for safety.
Yeah, so I learned about that not that long ago. I mean, and I've, had one nail painted something different forever, but then I learned about it and I'm like, did I know? Did I secretly know? And I was just doing it because I'm very femme presenting, not when we record, but when I leave my house most of the time.
Yeah.
I look like a real person.
And all the other times she's just a goblin.
Just a little goblin here.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least.
The end of our friendship. Goodbye.
That was not planned.
So, well, then it gets even better at the bar because Chris Pratt shows up before he was really Chris Pratt. And anyways, but he shows up and he is flirting with Jennifer. We kind of get the insistence that maybe they're sleeping together or there's something else going on. And Chris Pratt plays Roman, who is a cadet in the police academy. So he is being really gross because Jennifer is definitely a child.
Right. Like he knows that she's a child because he takes her cigarette away, and I'm like, bro, how old are you? And it's just no bueno from the very beginning.
Gross.
And
so gross. We should have known about Chris Pratt back then.
If only. But after they talk to Roman, they head up to go see the band because they're setting up their set. And Jennifer is all giddy and excited to go talk to these people, and she's just instantly in love because they're stylish and shit. And which is just, it's just emo style punk rock band, So she's flirting with the lead singer and is like, oh, we should get these 9/11 shots, but you gotta take them fast because they turn brown. So she runs to go get them drinks, which she's still not old enough to do that, but, she has to use her assets.
Well, see, you say asset, and that's exactly what Needy says to Jennifer. She's like, how are you going to get alcohol? And Jennifer, she's so blasé about it. She's like, I'll just play Hello Titty with a bartender. So it's funny that you said assets when it's titties.
Yeah, because when they were getting dressed, it was like, tits are Jennifer's thing, so...
I mean, and obviously she's putting them to work, so who can really complain about it? But it ends up working. She brings back the shots, and then she's talking to the band, and it's kind of
and
whatever.
I always thought it was really, Needy just has this, sixth sense about Jennifer, it feels like, because she's over, playing this game and overhears the band talking about, oh, do you think Jennifer's a virgin? And I'm like, first of all, I can't hear anything from, someone 4 feet away from me. How is she hearing this whole conversation? But she's like a bat. She just hears and senses everything with Jennifer. They just have a weird, really strong connection.
Yeah, but it also is really easy because the guys are being really gross and just talking about, oh, what about this one? You think she's a virgin? And they're being really creepy and, pedophilia about it, but Needy is listening, and she immediately goes into defense mode. She's like, you're not going to talk about my friend like that. You guys are gross, which is awesome for a teenager to be doing. And then she does her little finishing moment by being like, and she is a virgin. And then you see the band members going yes. So Needy did not actually end up helping Jennifer, but
So the band starts playing, and Needy and Jennifer start holding hands, which is, I don't know, best friends holding hands just seems weird sometimes.
I
To
think
me.
it's really sweet because every time we see Jennifer prior to this moment, she's always really snarky, really confident, really in control, really performing. But then this moment when she's just watching the band, it's like she just gets to be a teenage girl. She's really excited. She's into the music. Like, she's having a good time. She doesn't have to impress anybody. And she's just sharing that moment with Needy. And I think that that's really important to set the tone of the whole movie, because everybody's always telling Needy, like, why are you with Jennifer? Jennifer's terrible. Why do you hang out with her? Why are you doing this? And it's like, because she and Jennifer truly relate differently.
Yeah. And people's like friendships and relationships can be different like in public versus in private. And I think Jennifer just doesn't feel comfortable being vulnerable in public. And Needy is like fine with being weird and her authentic self wherever. She doesn't care. But Jennifer definitely feels the need to put on a front
Yeah.
when she's in public.
I think it's as much as, nobody's saying Jennifer is the greatest person and the greatest friend, and because all of those things do matter. But
Yeah.
it feels, she just really trusts Needy, and they say sandbox love never dies. So Jennifer just gets to be herself with Needy, and she doesn't have to worry about any of it. And I think that that is really sweet. Until
Until it's
shit
not.
goes down.
Yeah.
So Needy is the only one who notices, as the band is playing their amazing song that I love, Through the Trees, you will hear this more than once if you watch this movie, is that the bar has started to catch on fire. And there's just like a trail of flames kind of creeping up the framing of the bar. And then all of a sudden everybody's panicking, the bar is ablaze, people are trying to run out, and the band kind of just looks like, meh, whatever. Like, they're not like, hey, we're in a burning building.
Like, this isn't the first time. A super traumatic event for Needy, because she's like watching people die. Everybody's like running through the whole building. People are getting trampled. And so they finally get outside, and Needy is still like kind of upset about the whole thing. And the band and Jennifer are just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, where did the band like come from? Nikolai, Adam Brody plays Nikolai, who is the lead singer of the band. He just comes out like holding a cocktail, and he's so la-di-da about it. He's like, oh, this is terrible. Why don't you guys just come in my van? I think we'll all feel much safer there. And Needy goes, no. But Jennifer, she's completely entranced. She is being dragged away by Nikolai. Like, Needy, let's go see the really cool van. Exactly like that. Like, just gone. Something has happened to her.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that Needy sees is Jennifer going in the van, because she's not going.
No. And
I would not let you like go in that van.
No, I think
I realize
that we are mean
you're much
enough
older
to each
now,
other.
but I would not let you go in that van.
No, like I don't think that it was either, it's a ride or die thing. Like, you either ride in the van together and die together, or I pull you out of the van and we ride home together. Like, there's no separation.
It's ride and die,
Right.
or we run away.
But either way, together. Like, and
Absolutely not. No way.
I mean, we just recently, I just remembered, I secretly or something made Rachel share her Snapchat location with me, because she used to just disappear from me at the bar, and I needed to know where she was, and she wasn't always like on her phone to tell me where her location was. So I was like, you know what? This bitch is gonna get me looking around for her. So yeah, we just found out that I did that 2 years ago, and I don't remember it at all.
I don't remember it either, because I was driving cross country on my move, and this one over here would just text me like, how's whatever location you're in? And I'm like looking around, like, wait a damn minute.
like you don't even know the
Did you
town
follow
you're
me?
in, but I do.
And I was like, we could have gone on this road trip together. So in a way, it's like Katrina was with me.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna let you go by yourself with a stranger
appreciate
or
that.
across country with your mother. Either way.
Aw. Oh, that's very sweet. See, and this is why we end up better than the ending of Jennifer's Body.
Most definitely.
So, the great thing about this scene, which is, you know, a really harrowing scene, that the band takes a teenage Jennifer away from them, but as Needy's watching them close the door, Nikolai shuts the van door, turns around, and he just gives this shrug like, I win.
Yeah, like, what are you gonna do about it? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how she... I mean, they are teenagers, so it's, like, it's not Needy's fault because she's still a child. She doesn't always know
I don't
better.
think it's Needy's fault.
Like, she didn't know what to do. Just as much as 16 or 17-year-old us probably would not know known what to do.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, a series of unfortunate events of things that happen, and I mean, Jennifer chose to get in the van. It's not Needy's fault, exactly like what you're saying. But Needy's really upset about it. She goes home and she's freaking out. I mean, her friend is gone. She ends up home.
Yeah, and she calls her boyfriend and is like panicking, telling her, you know, Jennifer ran away. And I feel like he's just like, oh, Jennifer ran away. Less competition for your attention now for me. But nobody cares about Jennifer as much as Needy does in this movie. And I think Needy knows that, and she's just like, why does nobody not care? So...
Yeah, I get that. But then she kind of like falls asleep crying, and then she hears something out at the door, so now we kind of are getting into like actual spooky territory, is that Needy's hearing sounds around her house, but not finding the source of the noise. So...
yeah, her doorbell rings, and there's just no one on the porch. Also, why are you answering the door? That like I'd be like, no, you don't need anything. But I guess Jennifer was gone. But she opens up the door, nobody's there, and then Jennifer's just behind her all of a sudden, drenched in blood, and she just like slowly smiles at her, and it's so creepy.
Oh yeah, she's got like blood dripping out of her mouth.
I'm like...
I mean, it's terrifying. And Needy's like, what happened to you? And then Jennifer just kind of stalks away and goes right to the refrigerator, which honestly,
Same.
I get it. But she's trying to eat everything that's in Needy's refrigerator. She takes out a rotisserie chicken and she's just like mauling it. And Needy is like, what happened to you? What's going on? And Jennifer starts like screaming and throwing up this like black goo all over everything. Like it's gross. Like you'd think that she was having an exorcism.
And it was I looked it up, and it was like they actually used chocolate sauce for the black goo that came out, is what they... or if that's not right, I don't know, but the thing that I saw is...
I mean, that makes sense. That would be much more
appetizing. Yeah.
Pleasurable.
Race. But I would say Needy is a really good friend, because as soon as you... like, if you showed up covered in blood, like, okay, I'll let you in my house, that's fine. But as soon as you start, like, vomiting black goo and, like, growling at me, questionable. I might need to call, like, I don't know whether to call, like, a doctor or a vet, but I'd call somebody and be like, get her out. Like, I don't know what to do.
I mean, Jennifer did need help, but Needy is terrified, and Jennifer chases her down, throws her against the wall, and it looks like she's going to eat her, like, bite her. Like, she looks completely disgusting, gross, like, not like the girl that we've seen before. But then, one thing I noticed when I was watching this, it's that they both have, like, matching best friend necklaces. So Jennifer is about to, I mean, it looks like she's about to kill Needy, but then she sees the necklace, and then she just leaves. No word, no nothing. She's just gone out the door. Closes it behind her, too. Good for her.
I would have not. I forget to lock the door all the time.
And need... Oh, don't say
Yuri
that.
is very good at locking the door. I am not. I have fallen asleep, and I woke up the next morning in my apartment, and my door is cracked open. Rachel's face right now. She's appalled.
No.
That's what...
No,
I grew up in the middle of
scary.
nowhere, so locking the door was just not a habit of mine. I have gotten better, I will say.
Do better for that. So the next scene is the next day at school, where Needy goes into some kind of a class. I assume it's like science class or something, and J.K. Simmons is the teacher, and he's got these hooks for hands, which is never mentioned, explained, nothing. It's just a character trait that he has hooks for hands, and he is leading the class in a discussion on grief and mourning, and he kind of is the mouthpiece, saying that there were some students of the high school that had died, and then Jennifer comes in looking well rested. She's got energy and some charisma, and Needy is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she does this thing because Jennifer's like, well, what's wrong with you? And she holds up her hands, like her nails are ashy and dirty and gross, and the Needy just looks like she's been through something, and Jennifer looks like she just came back off of a day at the spa. She's just chilling. And then one of the funny quotes that Jennifer says is, you need to find a Chinese chick to buff your situation, when she's talking about her nails. And it's so of the times, but it's funny that the disconnect
like,
that's going on.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, what happened to your nails? It's like, oh, you need to get your shit straightened out because it's not working.
And Needy is appalled. She's just like, hello, you were there, I was there. And then J.K. Simmons, the teacher, I don't even remember what his name was in the movie, starts talking about how the band Low Shoulder is being regarded as the heroes of the whole saga because they were there, they were pulling people out of the fire, and Needy is like, no. And then this girl just whips her head around and she's like, yes they were, they're national heroes. And she's like, I was there, they didn't do anything to help anybody. She doesn't make any mention about them not basically kidnapping Jennifer.
Right.
But Needy is not a Low Shoulder fan.
No, and you can tell because every time a radio turns on or something in that town, it's always Through the Trees, and it just instantly pisses her off, and she like turns it off. But I'm like,
I get it. I get the exact same way whenever I hear Selena Gomez playing. I'm like, get this off of here. I do not want to hear it.
Anytime I hear Selena Gomez, I think, Rachel would want me to switch this right now, but I'm not going to do it. So it's fine.
Oh, well, I'm glad to know that you are a traitor.
I will switch it in your presence. Hey, Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift are friends now, so I don't know.
They've been
what you want
friends
from
for
me.
like a million years.
Yeah.
I just don't like her. Whatever. Anyways.
So the next scene, we have Jennifer and Jonas on the football field, and Jonas is so upset because he had lost one of his friends in the fire, and he's like a head taller than Jennifer, but like he looks like a football player. And she kind of like lures him into the woods by saying, this is what Craig would have wanted. And I don't know, but the football field is just, it gets like a cross between Twilight and Mean Girls. Like, when everybody's outside exercising in Mean Girls, but also like the hue of Twilight in the baseball scene. I don't know. Just.
I totally get it. I totally get it. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, correct.
So Jennifer takes him out into the woods, and she just like rips off his jersey, and I'm like, I know you should not be able to do that easily. So she's obviously got some strength. And they start, looking like they're about to get busy. And all these animals just start showing up and staring, like squirrels, deer, raccoons, everything. And I'm like, no thanks. And as soon as they're like getting ready to start doing something, Jennifer just eats his soul, like rips him open, starts murdering him.
Yeah, her jaw unhinges. She eats him. That's eats.
And the teacher hears him screaming and is just like, let it all out, kids. Let the like,
I know. And it's so funny because this child is literally getting murdered. But I mean, I don't blame the teacher. He doesn't know what's going on, but he just assumes that, hey, we've been talking about grief today and somebody is out there, just
letting it all out.
Expressing their feelings.
As they should. Because, no insane murders have happened yet, so they don't really, there's nothing for him to think that something like this is happening. Okay, so a teacher ends up finding a deer licking the blood off of Jonas's dead body in the woods, and then we see Jennifer swimming naked in the lake. I don't know if she's just relaxing or trying to get all the blood off of her, but either way, it looks peaceful.
It's a very male-gazy scene, and I remember that being in the trailers everywhere because you just see, like, the silhouette of her being naked in the lake, swimming. Like, it's a very sexy-looking scene, but it actually doesn't do anything. And that's something that's really interesting is the way that the movie was marketed to be a hot Megan Fox movie when it's this really interesting think piece about toxic friendships and, like, women knowing everything with this really funny dialogue, of course, but
I don't think it's men's humor.
That's
the thing is, like,
no,
when you're going through this, like, this is not things that typically like a male comedy would contain.
No, because it's smart.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have more than 2 brain cells to understand.
There is a scene of Needy and Chip walking through the hallway after classes, and Needy is explaining to Chip that Jennifer looks weird. She was acting weird last night. She was up all night cleaning up Jennifer's mess. And then we enter Colin, who is really great. He's played by Kyle Gallner. He's like a total scene emo kid, like black hair, black nails, wearing like chains, like very 2009 if you were at my high school and we didn't have a dress code. So he starts talking with Needy, and Chip is just looking between them. And it's obvious that Needy and Colin have a friendship. And Colin tells Needy that he's glad that she didn't die because he knew that Needy was going to be at the bar. And Needy's like, well, that's really sweet. And that's honestly my kind of humor. Like, I get it. It's like, me to tell you how much I love you and appreciate you means for me to say, you're all right. You're okay. So I'm glad you didn't die is great. Oh, I actually have a really funny story about that. For my grandma's 75th birthday, me and my brother were in charge of getting the cake. And on the cake, we had like a picture of her from when she was younger. And we put happy 75th. We're so glad you didn't die.
How did that go over?
And it was a surprise party for her, so we had like a photo board with a bunch of family photos and different stuff. And she came around the corner. The first thing that she said was that she was excited one of my brother's friends was there. And I'm like, okay, we're your whole family, but fuck us. But it was funny. Like, my grandma is everybody's grandma, so all my brother's friends and stuff and other friends that like we grew up with, she's just there. And she went and looked at the cake and she thought it was kind of funny. She did one of those like little laugh and like rolls her eyes. She's like, yeah, this is my family. They're nuts. But there were like some of her cousins and like some of the other old people in the family that were there. And they were just like, well, and I was like, oh, well, we were in charge of the cake and it's our grandma, so we have a relationship with her where this is fine. And they were just looking at me like, meh, 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 meh. And I was like,
Should have brought your own
get out of
cake if
here.
you don't like it.
You're just eating the food. You didn't spend any money to be here. So glad you didn't die is means of affection for my family.
Did your brother say that to you after your surgery?
No, he hates me. So Chip is kind of not getting on to Needy, but he's like, okay, like, since when were you friends with Colin? And she was talking about how Colin and she are in the same writing class, and he writes really beautiful poetry, and it's really deep. And then Chip's like, well, I can be deep, because he's like jealous, and it's really cute. And Needy thinks it's really cute too. And she's like, walk me home, and then they like do a little smooch and then walk home. It's adorable, but it's a really good introduction to Colin because we're gonna need him later.
So the next scene, Jen and Needy are on the phone and they're talking, and I feel like the lighter scene is just kind of like one of the iconic ones that everybody kind of knows about, even if they haven't seen Jennifer's Body. It's Jennifer has a lighter and she's like burning her tongue, and then it's healing instantly, and she tells Needy like, I'm a god. And Needy can't see her, but she's like, okay. I'll just take your word for it. Like,
Yeah, Jennifer is having a great time. She has like a cute little loungy outfit on. She's looking at herself in the mirror. She's enjoying the beauty that is upon her, which is just like an extra level of normal Jennifer. And Needy is still not about it.
Needy is more of like the humble brag type rather than the I'm a god, worship me type that Jennifer is. Which kind of plays into their friendship of being like, you know, everybody sees Jennifer as this like mean girl and Needy's the nice, sweet, innocent one, and they're always like, why are you guys friends? Which is another reason why people don't get it.
Mm-hmm. So then we get this montage of time passing, and people at school are still really upset. They're putting up memorials for the kids that they lost. The town is still really upset. Meanwhile, we get that other main scene from the trailer while everything is really gray and muted, and Jennifer is just walking down the school hallway in like a cropped pink heart sweater, and she's just beautiful and so excited and like la 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 la. I'm pretty, just completely out of touch with everything that's going on.
Yeah, like she has no emotions about the day. Like everybody's still mourning and everything, and she's just like, I'm a god. Like she just walks through the hallways, happy as can be, oblivious. Like she's lost that connection.
So on top of the really beautiful montage we get of Jennifer looking great, then it kind of leans into a montage of everybody not getting over it, but accepting what's going on, and they're getting back to their normal lives. And then Jennifer is the one who looks pretty wrecked. She's walking around, her skin looks dull and sallow, and she's sluggish. She's walking down the hall with Needy. Colin asks Jennifer out, and Jennifer completely blows him off. And then it's not until Needy says something about being friends with him or that he's a good guy that Jennifer is like, okay, Colin, I'll go out with you. So Jennifer really values Needy's opinion there. And that's very telling, I think.
Well, and part of me is like, was it also partially jealousy? Because why would she go out with him knowing what's going to happen if she knows that Needy is friends with him and likes him as a person?
Competition between women.
Jennifer agrees to go out with Colin, and she tells him to come over. And that same night, Needy and Chip are planning to hang out, and Chip is like, I bought more condoms, and Needy's like kind of excited about it, and I was like, it's funny. So Colin goes to arrive at quote-unquote Jennifer's house, and it's this like abandoned, dilapidated house that has like some light coming from the attic. So he goes up to the attic, walks into this room just like with a circle of candles, and it just looks like a sacrifice is about to happen. And so Jennifer pops up and he sees her and they start talking, and then her eyes change and it scares him. He cuts himself, and that's kind of when Jennifer does her thing. And while this is happening, Needy and Chip are having sex, and this is also where Needy's connection to Jennifer kind of plays in, because as Jennifer is killing Colin, Needy is like seeing and feeling things. It's just funny because Chip is like, oh, do you like, is this good? Do you like, because she's making sounds like she's breathing harder because Jennifer's murdering somebody. And I just thought it was funny because he was like, at the end of it, he's like, feel pretty good about that. Like, he just felt really good about himself.
He was like, am I too big? Which is just a cool thing because during the cutscenes, like, you're getting back and forth, Jennifer is mutilating Colin. He's screaming. She's like eating his intestines and scooping the blood out of his stomach. And Needy can see blood dripping down Jennifer. She sees the image of her from the night when she was in her house covered in like the black goo, and Needy is like panting and freaking out. And then Chip, am I too big?
Which,
comedy.
we love the concern, but it's not. It's
no,
not
sir.
really concern, no.
Which, I mean, if you really wanted to put some placement on that, it's women are going through real issues and doing stuff, and men are just concerned with how that might relate to them.
It's not, is something going on, are you okay? It's, am I causing, am I part, no. Also, men. I love how,
Chip is great, but men.
The fact that, Jennifer had T-Pain's, like, I Wanna Love You playing in the background, I just, I don't know why, but it made me laugh.
Very of the times. So Needy is freaking out. She leaves Chip's house, runs home, and then she is like crying herself to sleep on her couch because she doesn't know what's going on, why she's seeing these things. And then when she wakes up, she goes into her room, turns on the light, and Jennifer's just in her bed. So Needy freaks out, but Jennifer's like, what? We always share your bed when we have sleepovers.
Oh, but that's another one of the Needy consents Jennifer's presence. Like, she can always tell what's happening with Jennifer, and you never really see Jennifer sensing anything with Needy, and I'm like, maybe Jennifer is a narcissist.
Just a little bit.
So, and I think this is also the scene that got, like, marketed for the men, because Jennifer is on Needy's bed, and they start making out and just, like, kind of getting into it. And then Needy just kind of, like, snaps out of it and is like, what is going on right now?
And that's the whole thing, because the kiss technically is warranted, because it's just like an emotional connection between people who have this really intense, deep relationship. And Jennifer starts it because she's talking about, oh, you know, we always share your bed when we have sleepovers. We've been doing this for years. We can play mommy and daddy like we used to, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever they played. And then Jennifer just kisses Needy. And I mean, as a lesbian, I mean, it's not hot, but it's just one of those things that it's like the way it is used is not actually what's going on. So that's why men are like, oh, this is such a hot movie, but it's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, that's because you're an idiot. Yeah. So Needy snaps out of it and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And then Jennifer's like, wow, I have never heard you drop the F-bomb before. Which is, I mean, I didn't really do that in high school.
No, I didn't really start dropping the F-bomb until I started working, like, in a manufacturing setting. Like, we were making cabinet doors or something like that, and everybody around me was just constantly like cussing all the time. And I was like, okay, so now I can't stop. I'm 29. It's been 10 years. I can't stop.
I was like, now I got a potty mouth.
It is what it is. It's hard to filter it around children, though. That's hard. So, don't bring your children around me. After Needy snaps and is just like, what is going on? Jennifer starts telling her about what happened the night that she got into the van with the band. And it cuts to like Jennifer in the van and she goes, are you guys rapists? And then the guys are like, God, I hate girls. Like, if you're not, just say no. Like, that's a red flag.
So Jennifer is in the band's van. I had to say that really clearly. And they're like, are you sure she's even a virgin? And Jennifer gloms on that. She's like, yeah, I'm totally a virgin. I don't even know how to do sex, which we know that she had been fucking Roman, so that's not true. And then what she said before, she's like, I'm not even a backdoor Roman or a backdoor virgin anymore, thanks to Roman. I had to stay home from flags and sit on a bag of frozen peas. Like, it's really funny, but, you know, she's thinking maybe if I'm a virgin, like, I don't have any skills, they're not going to be that excited with me, I get to go home, and,
Which,
yeah, that doesn't work out for her.
no. So, yeah, they take her to Devil's Kettle, and they start, like, talking amongst themselves, like, do you want to be famous? Like, because somebody just doesn't want to do it, like, and I think this is when Jennifer starts to realize, oh, they're going to sacrifice my ass. Like, do you want to be Maroon 5 or not? And they start singing, what is it, 86753?
Yeah, they've got Jennifer all tied up. She's crying and pleading to, you know, please just let her go. She doesn't know what's going on. And then the band is being all cool about it. They talk about getting some book off the net about, like, how to sacrifice virgins, and then you'll get, like, rich and famous and successful, and that's all they want from their band. So they're just going to sacrifice this teenage girl that they think is a virgin to get their power, which makes a lot more sense now that we know what's going on. So the band sings 8675309 because they're like, Jenny, I got your number. So they're, like, making fun of it, of, you know, killing this girl named Jennifer, and they're stabbing her, she's screaming, and the band is, like, it just sounds like a happy old time. So...
yeah, and so they just leave her there, and they go, you know, become famous now, which, so they believe that it has worked.
We get back into the present where Needy and Jennifer are together in Needy's room. Needy's like, so they killed you? And Jennifer's like shrugging off, and she's like, well, they tried to. And she doesn't really know what's going on, but she's like, I guess when you try to sacrifice a virgin who's not a virgin,
you create a demon.
I have a demon inside me now, which she doesn't say, because Needy starts doing a ton of research about what's going on. She ends up telling Chip they need to stay away from Jennifer because she's done all this research on, like, being a succubus and stuff like that. So basically it's exactly that. It's when you try to sacrifice a virgin who's not a virgin, the spell still works. So that's why the band is everywhere. That's why people are in love with the band, just completely blindly. But there's a piece of a demon inside Jennifer who has to kill boys so that she can stay beautiful and do whatever, because that's what Jennifer says when they're in their room. She's like, when I don't eat, like, I get all yucky, like you. And she's talking to Needy, but she's like, but when I eat, like, I'm beautiful.
Yeah, and this is also when people just start looking at Needy in a different light, like thinking she's crazy. And she's telling, you know, because she started out with Chip, and Chip, it just ended up pushing him away because he's like, you're not making sense, I don't believe you, you're crazy. And so when it comes time to go to prom, like, she doesn't.
Well, Needy says that she can't go to prom with him, that they need to stay away from each other
Yeah.
because Jennifer's killing boys. She doesn't want anything to happen to him. But yeah, like while you're saying, Chip's like, what? He's like, I already ordered you a corsage. And she's like, you're missing the point.
Yeah, it's like, what is more important, prom or your life? But from Chip's perspective, I get it. Like, it's so hard to believe. Like, that's not something that you can just take somebody's word for. Like, I need to witness her murder a boy and become beautiful, okay? Like, show me. Oh, but I also think throughout the movie, we kind of notice, like, Needy's mother is not really present throughout the movie, but we always see, like, her mother, like, with medication or something, and I think her mom is diagnosed with, do you remember what she was diagnosed with? Does it say?
I have no idea.
But I feel like her mom definitely had some kind of diagnosis that, like, people think, oh, Needy's crazy because her mom's crazy.
So Needy says that she can't go to the prom with Chip because she needs to be on guard duty for Jennifer and make sure that Jennifer isn't killing anybody at the prom. But she doesn't know that Chip is going to go to the prom anyway because he doesn't care about all that. He just wants to have his time with Needy and be with her. So Jennifer is being all gross, like she hasn't eaten, like she looks tired and sad, like she needs the energy, and she's just putting on her foundation with her hands, like just like smearing it all over her face, which I get it because it's like, have you ever put your makeup on like that when you're just like, I hate everything, and she's putting on this mask because she's so tired, and you know she's not who she is because she's possessed. And
no, but I haven't put makeup on like that. But in my note, I put Jennifer's putting makeup on like that one influencer who just like I don't know their name, but they like dip their hands and just like rubs it all over their face. I've never been like that. Normally, if I feel like that, I just don't do it. Like, I just don't do makeup. I'm just like, meh.
yeah. So Needy is at prom looking around for Jennifer, and then it's announced that Low Shoulder is the surprise band. So the whole school is freaking out. We see that intercut with Chip getting ready, and then he's walking to the school to go to prom. Jennifer cuts him off in the park, and Jennifer starts explaining about how Needy and Colin were intimate. Like they were porking on a semi-regular basis in a way to kind of draw Chip away from Needy so she could get him alone.
Yeah, so she ends up luring him to this like abandoned swimming pool at the school. And this is another thing with Needy's connection. Like Jennifer kisses Chip, and like it flashes over to Needy like touching her lips, and she just instantly knows. Mm-hmm. Like Chip's in trouble. He's with Jennifer. I gotta get there. So, and then once Chip kind of like denies Jennifer after the kiss, she throws him in this disgusting pool. Like he needs to get all his shots after this, honestly.
Well, he doesn't really need them.
So Needy walks in and she sees Jennifer feeding on Chip, and she pepper sprays Jennifer, which just makes her vomit all over him. And she just starts levitating. And at this point, I'm like, this boy is not this important to me.
Well, apparently it was important to Needy, and the girls start going back and forth, like, shooting each other insults, talking, and this conversation is actually very important because when you're friends with somebody, you know, even if they're not a good friend to you or you just don't match for any reason, you will still defend each other or, you know, keep going. But then once you kind of come to that realization that this person who has been your friend for a long time is really not your friend, you kind of just hold everything, and like you get really petty and start attacking each other.
You keep a tally when it's a relationship like Needy and Jennifer's. I feel like you end up tallying and keeping score of like she did this, and when it explodes, it all comes out at this one fight.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it, like keeping tallies, because they're bringing up stuff about them being kids, and Jennifer, he says something to Jennifer, I can't remember what it is, and then Jennifer's like, nice insult, Hannah Montana, and then, because think of the times, and
Right.
Needy says something about how Jennifer was never a good friend to her, and how Needy knows all of her secrets, like about her staying skinny with laxatives, and back when she was socially relevant, which just sets Jennifer off. She's like, I am still socially relevant, and she's like freaking out about it because there's nothing more important to her than the way that she is perceived. So it looks like there's going to be a fight. Jennifer says that she's going to kill Needy. Needy's like, I thought you only killed boys. And then we get the other trailer scene. I go both ways.
Yeah.
But right before Jennifer can do anything to Needy, Chip stabs Jennifer.
Jennifer gets stabbed, and she says, "You got a tampon? Seems like you might be plugging." It just...
Amazing. Honestly, if I got stabbed in the stomach, I would come up with some retort.
I need to have some really good last words. Like, we need to just have a list of, like, come up with ideas of, like, what our last words would be, so that if we die in some kind of way, we know one of these was said.
Different last words for different situations, like cabin in the woods, but just like when I'm dying, depending on the situation, it depends on what I'm going to do.
So if you're listening, you should comment what your famous last words would want to be. Like, what would you want your last words to be if you wanted it to be funny?
My famous last words are, look what I can do.
And she didn't.
Oops. So it is really emotional because Jennifer leaves when she's injured because she doesn't have all of her strength because, as we saw before, she's kind of like weak and yucky. Jennifer leaves, Needy's trying to help Chip, and then Chip just dies.
Yeah, and his last...
Which is really sad.
Chip's last words, like, he dies after saying, "You look hot in that dress." Like, he went out of this world complimenting his girlfriend.
We love him. We love Chip.
And so after Chip dies, like, Needy just kind of loses it. She's died. Like, she's done. So we go back to the opening scene with Jennifer in bed and Needy standing outside the window. And Needy busts through the window and they start fighting. And she cuts her with a box cutter. And then she tears off the BFF necklace. And as soon as that necklace came off, it's like Jennifer just gave up. Like, she knew that their friendship was over. She didn't want to kill Needy. And so Needy stabs Jennifer and she goes, "My tit." Because that's what she used to get what she wanted. Like, she was the tit girl.
Mm-hmm. So during the fight scene too, Jennifer ends up biting Needy on the shoulder because there's some kind of self-defense. And when Needy rips off the necklace, Jennifer just falls back into the bed. Needy falls with her, stabbing her in the heart. And then Jennifer's mom walks in because she hears all the commotion. So out of all of the people that have been dying now, everybody thinks that it's Needy who's been killing everybody. And
so they send Needy to the insane asylum, basically. It's a hospital. I don't know if it's a mental hospital or if it's like in prison. This is kind of how we find out that Needy gets her abilities from the very beginning when she beat the crap out of the nurse. So it goes back to her in the cell where she was put in the isolation cell, and she starts levitating, breaks out of the mental hospital. And I don't know if it's out of love or spite, but she is just headed to go kill the band Low Shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Needy gets picked up by an old man driving the car, and he's kind of being gross, and Needy just says that she's following this band on their tour so she can seem like a crazy fan. We never know exactly what happens to that guy, but I really love it because the whole story about Needy exacting her revenge on Low Shoulder comes in the form of the credits while their songs are playing, and we see the band, living their lavish lifestyle. They're trashing hotel rooms, they're playing shows, they're just, being horrible men making messes for all I think about is the poor hotel staff that has to deal with that and clean it up. And then we cut into like crime scene photos of the band members all have been killed. And then the very final shot towards the end of the credits is while a bunch of like rabid teenage fangirls are running toward the band's hotel room, somebody in a hoodie is leaving that hallway, and then the security camera just kind of catches a flash that it was Needy under the hood. So we know that she has killed the band.
Good for her. That's what friends are for.
I mean, that's kind of the thing where, it still hangs on to it being about friendship. I mean, yes, Jennifer and Needy's relationship wasn't super healthy to begin with, but she was like,
Well,
like,
and even...
you guys aren't going to do this to anybody else.
Yeah, and even though, Jennifer and her relationship had deteriorated and, like, come to, like, such a violent end because of Chip, she knew that Jennifer didn't do it, like, because that's who she is. Like, she knew that was because of what the band did to her.
Yeah, I mean, she was literally possessed by a demon. I would probably give you a pass on a lot of things if I knew for a fact you were possessed by a demon.
I could appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't expect the same.
Well, it would be hard for me to prove that you were possessed by a demon. Like, how do we not know that's just Rachel?
I'm saying. Exactly. I got it. But this was Jennifer's Body. It's a really great movie that still stands up, even though like it's very of its times. It's still very enjoyable to watch. A movie about female friendship and women's agency in general. So don't forget to comment on what your favorite famous last words are going to be. And then we will get this episode out for you and then not wait 2 months to get the next one out, which is what I say all the time. But I don't have any more cross-country moves happening, so yay.
The next move will be mine, and I promise it won't take a whole 2 months. Only one.
Sorry. We'll try and get better about getting a schedule out for you guys, but thank you for listening and, being here at all while we kind of get our stuff together so we can really do something with this podcast. We've got a lot of movies and ideas for some other things that we're going to do, so we appreciate you just sticking around.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.